Hi boys and girls, this is going to be a directed drawing lesson, so make sure you have a piece of paper, and a drawing utensil, something to draw with. I'm reusing a piece of paper, so don't mind the back of it if you can see through it. But we're going to be drawing some silly snails to go along with the story I read aloud to you called Norman the Slug with the Silly Shell. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make two snails that are silly, and you can make more if you want, but we're going to make two in this video. And the first one we're going to do is we're going to start off with a square. So do your best to draw a square like so. And from that square, we're going to have his slug or snail head come out. And I'm going to make it come up like this. I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to come from the bottom of the corner, and I'm going to come up and connect the two lines so that I made the head. And then I'm going to draw some circles for some eyes at the top, and put a little dot in each one for a pupil, and maybe make a little mouth. And then for the rest of his or her body, I'm going to make like a snail track, like the slimy part coming out like this. So it's going to go like almost like a zigzag, like I'm making a bunch of triangles. And then we have to make the tail. So I'm going to start where I left off on the zigzag, and I'm going to come up like that. And then I'll just make it curve around and connect to the square. So it's like a snail shell. And then if you want, you can add some lines down your snail's body or slug's body and make it connect so that it looks like it's curving. The difference between if I added just a flat line like that, see, it wouldn't look like the body was curving around. So try and add a little bit of a curve to your lines if you choose to add them, and it'll make it look more like the snail or slug has some curve going on to it. And last but not least, before we are done with this snail, we need to add some antennae. So I'm just going to go up like that 2 times. And at the end of them, I am going to draw a circle to make an antennae ball. Now, if we want to make our snail silly like the slug Norman, he made a shell out of a donut. So think of something that is square that this slug could have made a shell out of, so it could be a snail. So what is square that this slug could have found? And I have an idea, but it might be different from your idea, but I want you to be creative. So I'm going to go ahead and make this. This says pizza. So I'm pretending that my slug has found a pizza box, and that is what he chose to make his shell out of. But there are lots of square things that you could choose to make the shell out of. And now we're going to make one more silly snail, but this time we're going to make it, let me move this over just a little bit, sorry. We're going to make it out of a triangle shell. So start off with a triangle, just like so. And you're going to make, again, the head or the neck of the snail or slug. It's going to come up like this, shoop, and stop. And then you're going to make it come from the bottom corner of this triangle and try and make it come and connect to make the head. We need to draw the eyes again at the top with pupils in the middle and a little mouth. And then we need to make the snail track or slug track with the slime. And don't forget the tail at the end, like so. And if you'd like to add stripes, just to make it a little bit more interesting. That would be great. And we can't forget this snail's antenna. So we're going to put the snail antenna coming up. And little balls, circles at the top, like so. And now we need to think of something that this triangle could have been, that this snail might have found and turned into a shell. And so I think I'm going to make this into, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to put like some seeds on here to make this a piece of watermelon that this snail has turned into a shell. Or I should say a slug turned into a snail shell so it could fit in with the other snails. So your idea could be completely different, and of course you can always add background, like maybe they're going on the ground, so they're going to find the other snails. Okay, maybe you want to draw some more snails, maybe lots of different shaped shells, and get really creative. But I can't wait to see if you want to post those on the Seesaw app and show me what your snails look like. That would be really great. I would love to see them. All right, thanks.